Abracadaver by Obelescence. Chapter 1, only chapter. Magical Misfire Cure. The most important spilled drink in history was a glass of warm milk, prepared originally to be drunk before bedtime, but fated instead to alter destinies and distort the balance of cosmos. It happens. If this is the first sentence of our fic, we are going to begin for a wild ride, ladies and gentlemen. I can fix this, shrieked Twilight. She made everything worse. I can fix this. Don't worry, Twilight. No need to panic. Was supposed to say, no, she couldn't. Start worrying, Twilight, and yes, absolutely panic. It was a brave effort, if nothing else. Twilight struggled to towel the mess, growing increasingly frantic as the pages swam in warm milk, priceless ink, and hopefully that was just strawberry jelly for breakfast. Starswirl couldn't have written his irreplaceable, one-of-a-kind, unfinished spell to dread blood, but it was only used for dark magic, and Starswirl will never experiment with such evil, forbidden, largely unexplored, and utterly fascinating. She paused to wipe the drool. Starswirl had probably just been a fan of strawberries, too. Eventually, she managed to clean it all up. For all the good it did her, Starswirl the Bearded's book was thoroughly ruined. Utterly, devastatingly, incriminatingly ruined. If not because it was soggy, and suddenly likely to go well with cookies, but because most of whatever has been written in it had become smudgy and blurred. Starswirl's last spell would go forever incomplete. Okay, she said, taking a deep breath, followed by several more, straight into hyperventilation. Options! She had a few quick choices, at least. First, she could own up to what she'd done. Amidst Princess Celestia, she ruined a priceless magical artifact, and, okay, no. She wasn't even going to justify that thought by finishing it. The second option looked promising. Go back in time and prevent Starswirl from ever finishing his last book, thereby preventing her from ever ruining it. Genius! Third option. Finish Starswirl's spell like she had been asked, and once she had proven her incredible talent for finishing powerful ancient spells, throw herself on the princess's mercy. Then at least the princess would visit her in the cold sail, if only to bring her more of spells to finish. It wouldn't be the worst way to eke out the remainder of her meager existence. She nodded, mulling the thought over. That last one actually seems like a best of a lot. A good learning experience. Fewer problems with causality. Time travel could be plan B. All right, she declared, turning back to the book. Do your worst, Starswirl! What Starswirl had evidently done, long before she ever spilled milk on his most priceless work. The whole writing was terrible, there were ink splotches all over the place, and at least half of it had been written in strawberry jelly. The milk was a problem too, but she figured she spent enough time crying over that one. Twilight squinted at the page, trying to discern if it had been an A or an E before she ruined it. It was possibly an X now that she had ruined it. A soliloquy. Wait, was it a soliloquy? Now explain everything! Of course! It had been written in the hard tongue of Grogard the Ever-Flaying, and of course Starswirl the Bearded had never finished a spell like that. All of his major historical accomplishments were peaceful spells for the betterment of Equestria, not apocalypse magic. Aha! She said gleefully. Perhaps she had already made it past step 1. Probably that was why Celestia had sent her this spell to her in the first place. Many ponies couldn't read the various ancient hard tongues at all. Certainly not those two prudent fools at the school for gifted unicorns, whose instinctive hatred of knowledge forbade them from delving into deepest, darkest, and most interesting academic studies. She reminded herself, catching the drool again. Your interest is purely academic, Twilight. Remember that. Purely academic. At this rate, she could read the spell, and more importantly, she could cast it. Now she knew that it did. Starswirl probably wouldn't have written anything with consequences incomprehensible to mortal minds. Or if he had, there probably wasn't anything the elements of harmony couldn't solve. She looked behind her, made sure the elements of harmony were still in their crystal glass case. Yep, still there. Yep, still capable of unleashing the combined magics of harmony to fix everything. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about, she repeated, activating her magic. Line by line, she went down the page, reading the dark incantation, precisely as written. Ikro monochrome rikra nyak. She called. Jeez, my ass is rusty. Log na fitam kri. She spoke the dark incantation. The earth itself shook beneath her. 1,000 anxious screams rose up from beneath the floorboards as the walls around her wept with boiling tar. And that was it. Wait, that's it? She looked at the book. It doesn't even rhyme, she tried. Well, it was an incomplete spell. It only made sense that it wouldn't do anything in particular until it was finished. Presumably, once he had finished the whole thing, it would do something more interesting. Like summon a demon to raise an undead army to terrorize her enemies. And anyway, do something other than make a mess out of the library. She looked around the walls, still oozing with lukewarm tar, possibly fluids foreign to stable dimensions. That seems like a problem. What if I start mutating things or ruining the other books? She had to do something about that at once. Spike! She called to the dragon upstairs. Could you get this all up under your bubble bath? A noise came from upstairs. It sounded like a baby dragon groaning. Thanks! Problem solved. Confident that she made excellent progress on unraveling Starswirl's last spell, and feeling rather drained when casting Apocalypse Magic in an evil language, she set off to the kitchen to have a glass of warm milk before bed. Twilight Sparkle remained curious at about 7 in the morning. She would have preferred to wake up at around the time, but she had gotten a lick of sleep all night. She'd been far too anxious over Starswirl's last spell to even think about sleeping, and Spike made far too much of a racket cleaning up all the tar on the walls, and her customary glass of warm milk before bed tasted too much like liquefied ass. Not that the last one was relevant to her insomnia, but, well, she was complaining. Oh well, nothing she could do about that. She sat up in her bed and stretched, ready to meet the new day. From the light outside her window, it was looking bright and beautiful outside. Morning in Ponyville. All the shimmery, shining, and everything being certainly, finally, exactly as she liked it. She rubbed the accumulated crust from her eyes, scratched absently at her side. She smiled as her hoof came back with a pale, lavender blob of necrotic flesh. Wait. Eek! Whoa! Spike screamed, falling out of his basket. He got up and she said, What's wrong? What's the problem with Twilight? The new diet's working! She held up the flesh blob and grinned in excitement. Verity was right. I'm shedding pounds! Her smile faded a bit around the corners. You know, I could have sworn that was more of a metaphor. No, I'm not going to look up what a meta's for, Spike said, yawning. Temporary adrenaline rushes could only keep him away for so long. With the apparent dagger he passed seemed to be ready to fall back into bed. He cracked his eyes open enough to see the blob in Twilight's hooves. It cracked him a far bit wider once he processed what it was. That, he began, is a chunk of me, finished Twilight proudly. She pointed the gaping hole in her side. Probably a good 2 pounds of subcutaneous fat. Rarity's gonna be so jealous. She told me it took a month to lose 5. Spike tapped his foot expectantly. Okay, yes. I know it isn't a diet. Isn't a diet, she sighed. Oh, just give me a couple of minutes before I freak out. All right. Spike let out another yawn and stretch. Yeah, so, horrible disease or undead again? Twilight tapped her cheek thoughtfully, and that too fell off. No pain. Just a creepy sense that she had become a nexus of dark magical energies. Undead. Spike nodded. Want me to put that on ice, or... Please. As Spike went out to get a bucket and some ice, Twilight stared calmly at the chunk in her hooves. When occasional panic glances towards the remains on her cheek on the bed, she became undead. No doubt about it. The question was, how? Think, Twilight, think! She tapped her cheek please softly. Clearly she'd been affected by one or more of her occult experiments. But which? Could have been the soul-burning steam engine. That one released almost no detectable pollutants. Harvestron, maybe? Hopefully not Harvestron. She liked Harvestron. What the sweet mother frackin' Celestia hell is Harvestron? The Flint-O-Matic? Definitely not. The recent commune to Zorglip? No. Zorglip was too close a friend to pull that. No. None of them seemed to be the cause. But one of them had to be. If only she could remember which. It shouldn't even have been that hard. She didn't have that many experiments invoking the profane. She already put most of them on hold to work on. Her eyes widened as a realization came to her. Oh, of course! She slapped her forehead, was peeled off redly. Starswirl's a finished spell! It worked after all! And about that time, Spike returned, hefting a huge bucket of probably ice. So, we didn't have enough ice to fill the bucket, but I remember you brought 2 gallons of chocolate ice cream when you started cheating on your diet, so... I earned those cheat days! Twilight said, ripping the bucket from his grasp. She stared down at the oozy concoction of regular ice and the wasted chocolate goodness. Well, good enough. She dumped her assorted pieces in and prayed it would preserve them. It probably wouldn't. Okay, she said, tapping her bony hose on the floor. Now that we've got that done, I think I know how to fix this. If Starswirl's unfinished spell did this to me, it stands to reason that finishing it will give me the clues I need to return to life. Spike made a face. Wait, that tar spell from last night. That's what did this to you? Yep, she nodded. That's what did this to me. Not Harvestron? No, not Harvestron. Why does everyone hate Harvestron? She shoved the ice bucket into Spike's arms and shambled huffily towards the bedroom door. Still, come to think of it, I'm pretty sure this'll give me some valuable insight on that one, too. Now, once I pass this spell and return from the shall we fail to death? Yeah, about that, Spike said, following her down the stairs. Are you sure Princess Celestia would give you a spell that turns ponies into zombies? Of course she would, Spike. What else would she give me? She coughed. All the good magic has already been figured out, so it's only natural that she asked me to look into dark magic, drawing on unsteady forces from the Nevervale. She coughed again, finally getting those extra chunks of lung matter out. And I'm not a zombie, per se. I'm most likely a lich. My shambling corpse is being controlled remotely by my soul, which is probably bound to the most magically attuned artifact in the vicinity. That could be a problem, Spike said, casting the lung matter as it floated behind her, because that means your soul could be anywhere. We don't keep any magically attuned artifacts here at the library of all places. Twilight stopped at the elements of harmony. Well, besides those. You're half right, though, Twilight coughed, opening the crystal glass case. My soul could be in any one of these, or it could even be in all of them. She grimaced. I don't want to think about too hard what it would do to do it. It would probably void the warranty, Spike agreed, sloshing the ice bucket around. Not sure about you, but I don't think we can fix this. Don't be silly, Spike. Of course you can. Twilight tried the element of generosity experimentally. No, Dazzly looked terrible, and she looked terrible. She took it off, taking most of her skin along with it. Verity's great with selling Neil. I'm sure I'll be able to save at least half of my composing corpse in that ice bucket. And the other half? Details, she shrugged. We'll worry about that once I finish the spell. Do you actually know how to finish the spell? Not a clue, she declared, setting the element mask snugly on her head. Yes, that good. But it's clear that the elements of harmony are involved somehow. Which means I can only do this with the help of my friends! Twilight stood triumphantly on the living room table, against the cruel, bleak morning outside. Though I may not understand how to finish Starswirl's spell on my own. I'm sure that with the love and support of my best friends, there's nothing I can't accomplish. And then her ears fell off. Right. She got off the table and set the element of magic back on her head. Careful this time to avoid her fragile, rotten ear sockets. Let's go find him now, before this gets any worse. Hurry, Verity! Twilight shrank into her cloak, worried that some pony would see her condition while she was waiting outside the door. How long does it take to open that door for someone? Evidently forever. It was immediately a risky business to go on broad daylight while missing a few pounds of flesh and formerly vital organs. But it was important to contact her friends in person. They would have had understood the severity of the situation if she doesn't Spike to spread the word. Last time he had screamed at them about her becoming a zombie, they simply laughed. And only partially because Spike had said it. You know she's not gonna like this, Spike said, setting the ice bucket down. You're not that crazy yet, right? I'm sure she'll like it, said Twilight, keeping a close lookout for witnesses. This cloak is a very seasonal shade of green. And she'll be too, once she sees you're a zombie. A lich, she corrected. Don't be silly. Verity's one of my best friends in the world. A little bodily decomposition won't get between the bond we share in our hearts. I'm pretty sure your heart's stuck too. Shh, she's coming. Sorry to make you wait, Twilight, Verity said, twirling out the door. You know how it gets when you're in the zone. Everything just seems to slide away. I actually do, said Twilight, as her eyes slid away from his socket. I was wondering if you could help me with something like that, actually. Of course, Twilight, Verity said, opening her eyes. I'd be more than happy to absolutely anything that might be... Pause. Whoops. There it went. Goodbye, eyeball. Still good, Spike declared, grabbing it off the ground, dropping it into the bucket. 5-second rule. Pause again. Verity turned up very lovely. It's very seasonal, she agreed. Dear Twilight, you really should have told me before starting on another diet. No, it's not a new diet, said Twilight. What happened is that I cast an unfinished dark magic spell last night, and it kind of might have turned me into a lich. And if you're not too busy right now, I could really use your help. Of course, Twilight, said Verity, soaking back her dry heat. Just the thing, Alicia. She disappeared back inside and returned a second later with a hood full of nothing. You need to moisturize often, darling. Dead skin is dry skin. I don't know what we'd do about the smell without a few boxes of perfume, but sir, no. I don't need help with that, Twilight interrupted. I mean, I need your help with... She stopped just long enough for the eyeball number 2 to stop drooping. Wait, actually, I will take the lotion. She dabbed a dollop of cream on Rarity's hoof and spread it around what was left of her face. She smiled as wide as her remaining skin flaps would allow. Better? Spike gagged. Worse. Oh, yes, definitely. You know, upon further reflection, I really have no idea why I thought that would work. She grinned to turn to Sage Greer. You goodness, she tossed it. Oh dear, just look at the... Fine, whatever, said Twilight, wiping the rest of the lotion off of Spike. Point is, I need you and the rest of the girls to meet me in the library in an hour so we can fix this. Can you be there? Yes, I absolutely will be, said Rarity, another dry heave. Just, give me a few minutes to prepare, and I'll be there faster than you can say disgusting. Rarity coughed. Abomination! No, wait, sorry. Ghastly revolting corpse, she nodded. Yes, I'll be there faster than you can say ghastly revolting corpse. Great, Twilight said with a grin. I knew I could count on you, Rarity. Yes, you can absolutely count, darling, said Rarity, turning a beautiful shade of summer cucumber. Now, if you excuse me, I need to go do a thing. With that, she shut the door. Well, I thought that went well, Twilight said, turning to Spike. Wonder what she had to do. I don't know, Spike shrugged. Probably hurl in a bucket. Well, just as long as she doesn't use mine. She sighed and threw the cloak away. Felt like good it did her. At least that one was down. Only 4 more to go. Twilight sincerely hoped that those would be better experiences. She wasn't entirely sorry, but she had kind of the strangest feeling that Rarity hadn't actually wanted to stick around. Also silly, obviously, as the bonds of friendship went far deeper than the spleen sticking at her side. But she wouldn't mind if the rest of her friends were more accepting of her status, as technically supposed to be dead. Yes, alright, she was missing her eyes now, and her face was looking a bit more skeletal than usual. But that wasn't any worse than the one time she'd given herself shredditis. She fixed that, hadn't she? At least Fluttershy seemed to be more understanding of her plight. Maybe a little too much so, actually. Twilight assumed that telling Fluttershy she was a rotting carcass would make her jump, shriek, and maybe book a vacation from Manhattan at the news. But instead she wasn't doing any of that? Oh, well, I don't see why I should be scared, said Fluttershy, when Twilight inquired further. Definitely compulsion out of natural parts of life for plants, animals, and ponies. She bent down to rip a weed for the carrot patches. Everything dies of Sunday. Well, Fluttershy, said Twilight, edging back a distance. That's, oddly morbid of you. Really? Fluttershy said, shrinking back a turn. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean, please don't sit too close to that part of the carrot patch. She pointed to a particularly discolored patch of mud. That's where I had to bury Henry. What's Henry? Asked Spike. 7 through 12. Oh, right. That definitely does clarify things. Twilight coughed. Or tried to. She didn't have any lung matter with which to cough up by that point. But it felt like the right thing to do. So, about fixing this? Of course I can help, said Fluttershy, mutilating another weed. I'll be there as soon as I'm done with the carrots. She gave Twilight a pleasant little smile. Don't worry, Twilight. Everything will be just fine. Even if it's a never-ending unlife, it can't be all that bad. Well, I'm sure the vultures love you now more than ever. And speaking of the bird devil, an enormous brown vulture perched on Twilight's back and screeched in triumph. At which point, it tore off a whitened chunk of back flesh and began to choke it down. Hey! said Twilight, trying to shake it off. I probably need that! Spike! Fluttershy! Help! Shh! Fluttershy whispered, stroking the vulture's beak. Not just yet, honey bun. Was of course the cue to run, and fast. They came to a stop some ear away from Fluttershy, feet away. Spike, loving what the creature with lungs that he was, needed a moment or two to catch his breath, but he was hardly the worse for wear. Being enlist did have some advances, despite the horrible social implications, but the latter clearly outweighed the former. She had to have a long and involved talk with Fluttershy about fatalism once she reclaimed her soul and returned to life. Or at least they had to discuss a case for the vultures. Still 2 down, 3 to go. After a few minutes' search, she found Daz and Pinky just outside town, practicing pranks. At least they were normal about the whole thing, relatively speaking. Not intolerant, not disturbingly tolerant, just Daz and Pinky. That was probably an improvement. Shred-eyes again? Asked Daz, teeping her novelty sunglasses. Nope, Spike said cheerfully. Undead. Again? Ah! Pinky raved frantically. Bang! Bang! I won't become a zombie this time! Twilight buried what remained of her face in her hose. Pinky, I'm not a zombie. Well, you look like a zombie, said Das. She snapped a made face. And you smell like a zombie. For your information, zombies have a distinctive order in comparison to the other forms of unlife, which you know if you helped out last time. She tried to sniff herself. And I probably don't smell that bad yet. Nope, you stink like a barn, said Pinky. She held her hoof to Twilight. Now, Pinky, I don't want to miss out again. Oh, for goodness sakes, Pinky, yelled Twilight, slapping the hoof away. I'm not a zombie this time. I've turned into a lich. Oh, you're not that bad, Twilight, said Pinky, rubbing her up. Maybe a little upset, but I said lich! Oh, okay. Pinky's face immediately re-brightened. Oh, take my soul and summon it into a tiny object too, like a cookie, or an actual cake! Twilight sighed. No, Pinky, I'm not going to rip your soul for Death's tender caress just so you can eat it. Oh, Pinky pouted. You never let me do anything fun. Look, I'm just saying, said Dash. Maybe you didn't mess around with creepy evil spells all the time. This sort of thing wouldn't happen. They are not creepy, Twilight insisted. I was given this spell by Princess Celestia herself. Really? Dash raised an eyebrow. Because I'm pretty sure the princess wouldn't tell you to cast a creepy evil spell. That's what I said. Look, are you going to help? Sure, Dash sighed. Let me get 2 more pranks and I'll be there. Can do too, said Pinky, grabbing Twilight by the snots. Guess you know, see? The terror was surprisingly clear. Whoa! Pinky's eyes widened as she stared at the disembodied nose. This never actually worked before. There were no more words for this torment. No social gesture sufficient to convey her exasperation. She didn't try. All right, she told Pinky. Yes, you got my nose. Just give it to Spike when you're done with it. Okie dokie, Pinky said with a salute. We're not going to take too long with it, she turned to Des. So let's stick this on weird things. You knows it, Des gleefully laughed. We're going to take this thing on a drip. And off they went. At least keep it cold, Twilight called after them. She hoped they heard her. They probably heard her. Oh, who was she kidding? They hadn't heard her. Well, it was okay. That was fine, too. She didn't need a nose anyway. Her olfactory senses were only her held her back. Well, Twilight sighed, I'm probably going to need that nose someday. You know, it's sad when your nose runs off on you, said Spike. But you can always get another one. No need to be picky about it. Twilight, she punched him. That's not how you, mister. Last but not least was Applejack, a superstitious farm pony, a humble worker with no vision beyond her farm, naively unaware of the fascinating depths of apocalypse magic, and close personal friend. How would she react to the news that her friend had become an undead puppet, dancing to her imprisoned soul's will? What horrifying breaks in perspective was he experienced as he realized that death needn't be the end of a pony after all, and by dark devices be a conscience that could be sustained forevermore. How could she ever forgive herself for unleashing these revelations upon poor Applejack? You're all dead. You need your help. We gotta be there soon, said Applejack. Got it. She went back to bucking the apples. Anything else, partner? No, I don't think so, said Twilight, giving her skull an awkward scratch. Yeah, pretty much the gist of it. Well, she's supposed to forgive herself for this one, just this once. How soon can you come by? She asked. Right after apple time's over, said Applejack. She'll be more than a shiffy. Apple thing time? Twilight removed her skull and raised it to an incredulous look. You're messing with me, aren't you? That can't be something that actually exists. What are you talking about, Twilight? Apple thing time's a family tradition around this time of year. Applejack, there's no way you can convince me that the Apple family actually has a tradition called... Oh, hi, Twilight, said Apple Bloom, walking up. She gave Twilight a quick look over. I'm lying? Yep, Applejack said. She gave the apple tree a nod and a buck. She needs our help to fix it. Cool. Apple Bloom threw a fallen apple into Spike's ice bucket, where it led with an awful squelch. But she knows she's got to wait until apple thing time's over, right? That's what I told her. Well then, Twilight said brightly, I'll just leave you to your apple thing time, which actually exists apparently. As he began to slide off, and most expected to just saying, I'll see you At the library, then? Certainly, Twa. Take care of what's left of you. I'll... I'll try. She made sure she was out of earshot before anything else. Apple time? Really? My soul is detached from my corporeal form, and I still don't believe that can exist. Maybe it's just a cultural thing, said Spike, snacking on the apple from the ice bucket. We had non-specific unicorn thanking season at Carolot. Nuts. Yeah, so we did, she admitted. But at least that's a specific unit duration. She shook her head. Well, whatever. Doesn't matter. Everyone knows where to be, at least. She chuckled, rubbing her hose again. Everything's going according to plan. At last, all the pieces were finally in place. Though the universe, and her friends, had evidently conspired against her efforts to solve Starswirl's final spell and fix this unholy mess, nothing could stop her now. Not her friends, not a glass of warm milk, nothing, anything, nothing! She felt she deserved a few minutes worth of gloating. Spike's fancy apple core. So, what now? Now? Now all we have to do is go back to the library and wait for them to show up. She cackled again, with even more volume and more dramatic effect. We're going back to the library, and I'm going to lose a skull, evidently, because it fell off before she got any further. Good catch, Spike! She told her once she screwed it back on. So, as I was saying, she cackled once more. The sky darkened and rumbled ominously above. She paused to let the noise die down. Once we're all back to the library, I'm going to... Lightning flash. Thunder boomed. The Ponyville Orchestra played a moving symphony some 2 miles distant. Nothing she said was all audible. Okay, you win! Twilight shouted up to the Karen, currently carrying heavens. She sighed and turned back to Spike. We could probably guess the rest. Let's get inside before it rains. All right, Twilight said, pacing down the line. You each have your respective elements of harmony, and I'm sure you all remember how to wield them. Any questions before we start? Just one, Dash said, raising her hoof. Isn't this, I don't know, dangerous? Not a bit, Twilight said. I did the calculations, worked some math, communed with Zogirl up briefly, and I'm 95% confident that I'm at no permanent risk from this. And the other 5%? Twilight shrugged. 3% chance of incineration, 1.4 chance of violent possession by ancient demons, 0.6% chance of the backlash flattening Equestria and melting every face it rains. Wait, Applejack said. 0.6 chance of what? No time to backtrack, Twilight said, waving her off. I'm not getting any fresher here. But if you're still not convinced, to consider this. Have we ever encountered a problem that cannot be solved by shooting it with a beam of concentrated harmony? Well, Applejack paused. Give me a sec here, partner. I'm sort of something. Case in point, Twilight said. All precedent suggests that hurling the elements of harmony at a swirling nexus of evil energies is an effective and consequence-free solution. Therefore, none of us are likely to die. She turned to Spike. Everything still cool? Spike scooped up another serving of double mint chocolate syrup into the ice bucket. Gave her a thumbs up. Fusty! Excellent. She turned to Rarity. So, Neil, ready? Ready as it'll ever be, said Rarity, hefting Neil. Although it remains my humble opinion that you really should take a trained medical professional to... Great! This was it. The big moment. The completion of Starswirl the Bearded's final spell. Princess Celestia would be so proud of her for accomplishing this. Probably she wouldn't even notice that Twilight had spilled milk all over a priceless historical artifact. Or, no. She probably still would notice something like that. But at least she'd be proud. All right, she said, stepping into the circle. Ready on my mark, then. 3, 2, 1, go! The library filled with a blinding light as the unspeakable energies of friendship were unleashed. Dizzying bursts of color shot from element to element, gaining in force until the magic coalesced into a single devastating beam directed at Twilight's sparkle. It occurred to Twilight that at precisely that moment, that the elements had no means of distinguishing her, shabbily corpse, from an unnatural abomination. Most of her calculations had been done with the entirely reasonable assumption that they would probably just fix everything. But on the off chance they thought she was actually an unspeakable crime against the natural order, that would perhaps put the chance on incineration at slightly higher than 3%. Exactly how much higher, she wasn't sure, but it wouldn't be that much. Where am I? She awoke to find herself surrounded by stars. The world around her seemed to stretch outward into infinity. Ethereal and mist of oblivion, her very first inclination was to gasp in awe at how beautiful it is. Her second inclination was to realize what it all meant. Oh my goodness, I'm dead! Not quite, said a familiar voice from behind her, although in some senses of the word. Princess Celestia! Said Twilight, relieved to know that, even as he was dead now, the princess was dead here with her. I'm so glad to see you. Likewise, said Celestia, giving her a warm smile. You, arrived sooner than expected, actually. I've been getting the whole ballad together in preparation, but she cleared her throat. No matter. The point is, you got here, and I'm very proud you did. Thank you, Princess. She said the hot blood growing on her cheeks. The very first she felt since becoming a lich. But I don't know how I found this place. What is it exactly? This, said Celestia, waving her hoof over the infinite expanse around them, is where all souls go when the mortal vessel gets incinerated. A place to wait while a body is reconstructed for them. Souls. Mortal vessel. Twilight's eyes widened. I'm still a lich? Well, of course, Celestia said, cocking her head. You finished Starswirl's spell, didn't you? She took a moment to process that. Yes, she laughed nervously. I mean, I most definitely did not spill milk all over it, if that's what you're asking. Ah, Celestia said, hopefully convinced. Well then, I don't know what else were you expecting. It was written in an ancient horror tongue. She shook her head and sighed. Starswirl never did have much of a talent for apocalypse magic. I knew it! Twilight laughed. I just knew it was intentional. She stopped. But why, Princess? What's the point of turning me into a horrible, rotting lich? Not just a lich, Twilight. A princess. A princess? All princesses are liches, Celestia said, popping her eyeball out. Pop! How else did you think I could be 1,000 years old? Twilight shrugged. Bigger eyes? She shook her head. But I don't understand. You look so fresh and not undead! A complex array of illusion spells works, said Celestia, winking at Twilight with her remaining eye, and regular moisturizing. Moisturizing? Well, it doesn't hurt. Celestia popped the eyeball back in. Dead skin is dry skin, you know. Twilight needed a full minute to process that one. Okay, I guess I believe that. So, what happens now? Now we wait, said Celestia, for your Abracadaver to reconstruct you a body. She looked at Twilight up and down. With wings, obviously. Every princess needs wings. Alright, Princess, said Twilight, sitting down. I'm sorry, this is just all very new and confusing for me. And it was. She would never have guessed a week ago that she would become a lich or a princess. She would have never thought that her purely academic interest in dark magic would be completely vindicated, and she certainly wouldn't have guessed that Celestia herself existed in a constant state of rotten undeath. Although it did explain all the lotion. I understand how you feel, said Celestia, wrapping a bony wing around her. But remember, this was the culmination of all your studies. Every challenge you faced, everything you learned with your friends, especially the study of apocalypse magic. That was all preparation for this. Well, said Twilight thoughtfully, not that she complained about necromancy being on her course curriculum, but she'd been really curious about the time. Of course, you need friends for something like this. Who else would be marginally more accepting of her body's ongoing decay than her best friends in the whole world? I guess it does make sense when you put it like that. I hope so, Twilight. Celestia smiled, replaced Twilight's cool, yielding cadaver with her own. From the very beginning, it was your destiny to become a corpse driven by pure force of will as preparation for the end of days. Never forget that. Thanks, Princess, said Twilight, feeling better already. I won't. From the heavens she descended like a shining star. The landing was brilliant, yet gentle. The soft glow of her magic watched over all of Ponyville Square. Twilight stood gracefully at the center of the crater, spreading her wings of newly formed flesh outward to embrace the cool night air. It was pretty dramatic. Her friends gathered around, awestruck by the spectacle, if not blinded by it. Oh my goodness! Gasped Pinkie. Twilight, You're still a lich! Twilight finished. But good news, it's all intentional. She dislocated her neck to check them out. She was still amongst the patiently dead. Crack! Yep, still dead. Rarity turned pale. Applejack yawned. Waterside bit her lip. Rainbow's jaw fell open. So wait, this is all according to plan, Twilight said proudly. Told ya. She walked up to her friends and gave them all a big hug. It was important to let them know how much she cared. New body still warm. She didn't even mind that half of them broke the hug to nearly throw up. Do you still need this? Said Spike, holding up the ice bucket. Or, you can get rid of it, she told him. In the river, probably. Same as last time. She turned back to her friends and gave them a smile. Or what would have been a smile, if her cheek muscles had brought her to respond. I know this is sudden, and there are probably going to be some big changes for us now that I'm one of the crusty as undead sovereigns. But don't worry, I'm sure everything will be fine. Dead silence. Rarity started on her third hello. So, Twilight said, something into of cameo lotion. Any pony want to help me get my back? I don't know what I was expecting with this fic. I don't know what insanity I was expecting when I read this. But, fun. Silly. Go read it. Here's the next fic.
Next time, what about Eep?
Vampire Knight, Part 1. Enjoy.